What the heck is up, guys? Once again, it's Jacob here again. So today we're talking about modems. What the hell is a modem? A lot of people just, they call everything the modem. They're like, oh, the wireless router and the modem, and they call it kind of all one thing. And they really are two different things, the wireless router and the modem. But what is the modem and what does it do? We all know it's the thing that's always probably the pain in the ass problem while your internet's down. You always have to go and reset the modem. What the hell is the modem? What does the modem do? It's provided usually by your internet service provider. But what is the role of the modem in a network, and where is it placed, and what does it do? So that's what we're going to look at, is what a modem does and where it's placed in a network. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. Alright guys, so my trusty little topology, network topology that I've always used in every single one of my videos has actually let me down in this one. That's the one thing I forgot to put in, was the actual network modem, and that would go right here. So what is the modem and where does it go? Well, you can see here that we have the internet cloud here. This is the internet, and this is our local network. And this is a router, so that would be like my last video where I explained this guy here, this network router. Everyone knows they have one of these in their house. This is what their wireless devices connect to, their computer, all that crap. But then they have that modem. What does that do? So basically that's what allows you to connect to the internet, because there's no house that comes just with an Ethernet jack built in the wall where you just plug your modem or your router in and you have internet access. You don't have just an Ethernet jack that provides you internet access. The modem provides a way for you to get internet access. So basically your router will take your internet connection and split it among all your computers. But what the modem does is it actually provides you that internet connection. So this here would be your Ethernet jack, and that's basically just an Ethernet jack to connect to the world. That connects you to any website you could possibly want, any server in the world. That right there provides internet access to you, that Ethernet jack. So that provides you a connection to another network, to an outside network. So it's basically interconnecting your local network with the world, with the whole world's network, which is the internet. So what does this actual box do though? How does it provide the internet here, and why do they have these boxes? Why don't they just run an Ethernet jack straight to our house? And that's actually a good question. That's what this is. So it's a modem, which stands for modulation and demodulation. What it does is, I don't know how much your guys' knowledge is, but you can't really run an Ethernet cable, Cat5 cable, that far. That's what this jack is here, and it's actually carrying a digital signal. But you may be hundreds of feet or maybe even thousands of feet away from your closest internet service provider, hub, or the boxes on the street. There's those cabinets on the street that you guys will see. They're like green or white these days, and they provide the internet service to your house, and that's where your house actually connects to, is into those cabinets. But the reason they have this box here, this little modem, is what it does is it actually runs a coax cable all the way to your internet service provider's box. So they give you internet service through a coax cable here. This is an analog signal, so basically you have an analog signal that comes in here, and then it converts it into a digital signal to convert that information back into an Ethernet jack, which your network uses. So all your internet, your signals and everything are actually converted into an analog and sent through a coax cable. Up and down speeds are all sent through coax. This is assuming you're using a cable modem. So why do they do that? Well, because you can run a coax much further. You can run it, really, really far down to where they need to get it to. Whereas an Ethernet jack, you can only run it, a couple hundred feet maybe before you start getting into serious issues and losses and stuff. So that's why they have this, is because they can shoot that coax signal very, very far. They pop this little guy in your house, it takes that coax and it converts it right to Ethernet with minimal losses, because you're not going to lose a lot of signal through a coax cable. So this modulates and demodulates that analog signal into a digital signal and back and forth. So that's what this box does, and it actually gives you connection to the internet. through this modem. So it's basically a fancy way of extending the Ethernet cable. It's like getting a really long Ethernet cable, but you convert it into a different type of signal that can go further, and then at the other end they reconvert it back into an Ethernet cable. Now, another thing I just wanted to show you guys, because these are becoming very common today. This is not actually a cable modem or anything, but this is what I use around the house too. I use these all the time. These are fiber optic converters. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this is practically the exact same as one of these. And today, fiber optics are starting to they're starting to become more popular. You're starting to see fiber optic connections to the house a lot more, like Verizon Fios. I believe even Time Warner or AT&T, one of them, is actually starting to do fiber optics as well. And when it comes to business class, they all provide fiber optics. Business class is practically always going to be your fiber optic cable. So what this does is this is another means of getting a signal very far. Fiber optic can even go way further than a cable modem. Fiber optic, I can send a fiber optic signal over a mile without any losses, or very minimal losses, because it's using light rather than signal, so you don't have to worry about electromagnetic interference or anything. But they're both doing the same thing. They're both taking that Ethernet jack and converting it into a different type of signal. So this is doing a coax signal, which is an analog signal, and this is turning it into a fiber optic light signal using an infrared light source, and it's converting it into like a digital fiber optic signal. It is still digital on the output. This is digital. It's using, modulation of light, but that's what this does. And there's practically, if you did have fiber optic internet, you'd have practically a box just like this. It wouldn't be this type of a box, but it would be one provided by our internet service provider, which would have two fiber optic lines that would come in from their cabinet down the street, and then that would come in and you would have your internet through this jack right here. So it's basically a way of them bringing the internet service to you, basically bringing you that Ethernet jack that you need to connect to the internet over a long distance without getting any losses, because you cannot run Cat5 Ethernet jack cable that far. You can't run it all the way across the block and expect to have a great signal at the end. So they convert it into these signals here. So this is just a simple fiber optic converter. You just have your power there, and you have fiber send and receive, transmit and receive. And then your signal right here, this would be your Ethernet jack. So they're basically, all they're doing is converting the signal into something where you can transmit it a long distance. Fiber optic is a lot faster, a lot less lossy. Like I said, there's usually two different cables. You'll have a transmit and a receive jack for each one. They actually split them along two separate cables, whereas here it's all kind of mashed into one. And I mean, to be honest with you, coax is a little bit older technology. I mean, this is what they used to run TVs on. This is what your TV satellite box runs on. I mean, it still can be very fast. It's a lot faster than anything like DSL or anything. But fiber optic is definitely starting to become the way of the future. And this is practically a fiber optic. I mean, it could be called a modem as well, but it's not actually modulating and demodulating the signal. It's just converting it into a light signal. But this is how a lot of newer internet connections to your house are going to be provided, is through something like this, through a fiber optic converter. So that's pretty much all the modem does, is it just provides you the internet service, and it provides a way for the internet provider to bring you that Ethernet connection that you need from their closest service panel or their service cabinet, where they would connect you into their network. So that's pretty much it for a modem. They're very simple how they work. I mean, there's really nothing to them. There's not really any configuration or anything you do to them. They're just all they do is just basically convert signals. So very basic, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little tutorial. If you have any more questions, throw them down below, or visit my website at thehackhub.com, hackhub.com/forums to get into the forums. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little explanation of a modem. And like always, guys, have a good one.